really do believe I've had the perfect life.
You were having a chat with your girlfriend and you also have a lot of wives. So do they not actually get insecure of one another?
People think I quit drinking because I reverted to Islam. That's not why.
And what is the matrix for the common consensus?
The Matrix didn't betray the older generation as much as it betrayed our generation.
Bro, how do you still manage to stay so relevant?
You know, I don't want to be arrogant, but I'm going to.
Bro, I want to pick your brains on Jeffrey Epstein and Black Jeffrey Epstein.
Well, we'll see how that works out.
Yeah.
And we're all just going to sit around gambling on meme coins. Society's broken. People say to me, why don't you enter politics? Because if I enter politics, guys, I can't tell you the truth anymore. I can't sit here and do this anymore if I enter politics, because then I'm definitely going to jail or I'm definitely getting killed. Russia's killing kids, which is all lies, by the way. How do I become relevant? Well, because I'm not scared of the bad press. I'm not scared of the BBC. When my face appears, they have to write bad things.
But how does one free their mind?
If they're watching this podcast, it's a good thing. It's a good start, right? How did I know they were all going to arrest me? How did I know how the world works? You have to have difficulty happening to you all the time. But certain things should be kept secret because I do have enemies.
An important question you mentioned earlier. So you mentioned that you were having a chat with your girlfriend and you also have a lot of wives. So do they not actually get insecure of one another?
I say wives. I say girlfriends. This is deliberate deflection. This is flack. Actually, this is one of the questions I get asked most often by women and men. They come up to me and say, you say on these podcasts you have all these wives, and you say on these podcasts you have all these girlfriends. How many wives is it? And where do they all live? And do they live together?
Somebody told me 11. I was like, what?
Yeah, everybody's confused by it. But you have a professional life and you have a personal life. And I share a lot of my personal life in my professional life,
Correct.
especially the struggles. But certain things should be kept secret because I do have enemies. There's enemies in the world. And nobody knows how many women I have or whether it's 1 or whether it's 10 and whether I'm married to them or not and where they live and what their nationalities are. And there's a lot of people online who guess. I've seen some haters try and guess. And I actually am very glad that they guessed and they put so much negative and incorrect information out there. So yeah, I do okay. I'm never lonely. Let's leave it at that. I'm never lonely. I'm never like, oh, I'm by myself. I got to work at Starbucks tomorrow. Got no chick here. That doesn't often happen. In fact, it's quite the opposite problem.
You had a very, very hard lifestyle, man. I mean, you actually went and bought fish, I remember. 7 a.m. in the morning till 5 p.m.
Yeah. When I was 15, my first job was carrying boxes of fish from 7 a.m. till 5 p.m. And I would run to work. So I'd leave the house at 6. I'd run an hour. I'd get there at 7. I'd finish work at 5. And then I'd run from there to the fight gym. Get to the fight gym. I'd get there early before training started. I'd eat food next to the gym and then I'd train and then I would get a ride home from my girlfriend at the time. So my entire life was 17 hours a day of just running and working and carrying boxes and fighting. And I can't be more thankful. I don't want to be arrogant, but I'm going to. I really do believe I've had the perfect life. Now, I don't know if that's actually because I have the perfect life or if I framed it that way, but I am so thankful for everything. I am so glad I got to grow up poor, because I wouldn't appreciate money if I didn't. And I'm so glad I got to spend my 20s, that decade where you're as powerful as possible fighting. And I'm so glad I've had difficult jobs and no money. And I'm so glad I couldn't pay my bills so that I appreciate now all the money I have. And I'm so glad I had the parents I had. And I'm so glad all these bad things happened to me, but enough good things happened. And I just really feel like it's been the perfect path. And I think back on that job. I think back on how my life was back then. And I realized that I wouldn't appreciate any of the things I have now without them. There's absolutely no light without dark. The best thing about being rich is talking about how you used to be poor. Otherwise, it's no point being rich at all. You're not going to enjoy any of it. You're going to end up addicted to drugs and doing crazy stuff, right?
Yep.
The reason I'm so happy, I don't drink, I don't do drugs, I'm happy every day, I'm pretty emotionally balanced, is because I wake up in a big ass house and I realize that I don't have to worry about rent the next day and everything's fine. So I think being rich is as good as I imagined it to be when I was poor. And I truly enjoy it, but I would have never appreciated the money if I didn't have the poor side. And I really think in many ways, I've almost had the perfect life. I'm so glad. Even going to jail was fantastic. I'm so glad that these things happened to me. Now, I don't know, as a professional, when I analyze these things, I often sit and think, is that objectively true? Have I had the best life with all different sides of the spectrum, all the barriers of the parameter, because there is no light without dark. To grow up around stabbings and to be stabbed myself, and to grow up around drug dealers, and to grow up in a terrible area, and then to be rich and fly my Bugatti on A380s to different countries so I can flex. Like, is my life really the best life possible, or have I just framed it that way? I don't know. I'm sure there's people out there perhaps had a better life than me.
You've reprogrammed your subconscious mind.
Well, maybe there's people who've had a better life than me, right? There's people who've had deeper darks and lighter lights, and they've had a wider spectrum of experiences, and perhaps they've had a better life, but they may not think that because maybe their mind is not programmed to see it that way. Perhaps what you should do as a man is to view your life the same way. Irregardless, you should sit and wake up and say, God has given me the best possible journey on this planet. Of the 8 billion people, mine is the best. I got to see this. This bad thing happened to me. That was fantastic. This terrible thing happened. That was an interesting time. This good thing happened. This girl loves me for some reason. My life's amazing. Perhaps you should view your life as the best possible life. Perhaps that's the best way to be competitive. I don't know if it needs to even be objectively true for it to be effective.
It's your story. It's your reality,
story.
Right?
So it doesn't even have to be objectively true for it to be effective. However, in my scenario, I truly believe that I have lived the best life. And I truly believe the best years of my life have not happened yet. And they're going to come. And I truly believe that my story is going to be one of the best stories ever.
But bro, you've reprogrammed your mind. It couldn't have always been like that.
No, when you're younger, you lack experience. So you're not as...
You may have battled anxiety and all of that stuff growing up too, because, I know what it feels like not to have any money.
Yeah. Oh, completely.
It's very, very, you feel that you're going to die the very next moment.
Absolutely. I've been poor, but I don't think I always knew the answer to everything is raw action.
Yeah.
The answer to everything has always been raw action. My dad had a tweet about this. He said that raw action solves all. And he used to say this. I'll give you an example. If you're a farmer and you need rain for your crop and there's no rain, you can sit there and say there's no rain, we're all going to starve. Or you can stand up and do a rain dance. Now, will your rain dance work? Perhaps not. Perhaps the rain won't come. But I would argue that you're better off standing up doing that rain dance than just sitting there waiting to die. You have to do something. Raw action solves. So when I was broke, I was never like, I'm poor. What do I do? It was, I'm poor. I have to do something. If I was broke, I'd go for a run. That's why I was such a great fighter. If I was broke, I'd sit there and go, I'm actually poor. How do I make money? Dunno. Where can I get some cash? Dunno. What work can I do? Dunno. I'll just go for a run then. And I'd just go for 3-mile run. Or go hit the punch bag and get better.
This resonates so deeply, man. This is exactly what I did.
That's exactly. You just have to say, well, I have to do something. I can't just sit still and die. A lot of people are happy to just sit still and die or jerk off and go to sleep and take a nap. Well, if that's what you want to do, then you can stay a loser. That's fine. I'm glad there are losers, because if everyone had Lamborghinis, my Lamborghini wouldn't be fun to show off. I need you to look at it and feel the deep pain in your heart of regret and failure. That's the whole point of it. I need to drive my Bugatti and everyone be looking at it going, I'll never have one of those. And I can get all their energy and feel it all, and it makes me happy. Fantastic. So you can sit at home and do nothing. But when I was poor, I had to go for a run. I couldn't sit still or lift weights or do something. I couldn't even sleep. So raw action solves everything. And I understood that at a young age. But as you get older, you get to look back and you get to put your whole story together, the whole tapestry together. I knew I wouldn't stay poor. Did I ever think I'd get this rich? Well, I never said I wouldn't, but did I ever think it would probably happen at this level? No, but it's amazing how the compounding interest of just endless raw action adds up. I've never had a lazy day. I've never skipped work, never missed an email, never had a day off, ever. If you were to go through the last 3 years of my life, you will see that there's never been a day where I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. And it all just adds up, and then monumental success comes and you get to laugh at everybody else, ha, 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 and life's great. But I really believe God's given me one of the best lives, and I can't complain about anything bad that's happened to me. It's all been fantastic. I'm truly thankful for all of it.
Do you practice gratitude every day?
But I don't have to practice it because I'm actually truly thankful for all the bad things that have happened.
That's beautiful.
I truly am like, thank you, God, for that difficult time.
You created that belief before you had all of this stuff or after you began to receive all of this stuff?
I think if a couple bad things happen to you, you should be intelligent enough to realize that eventually you're going to get over it and you're going to learn an important lesson. It's going to change you in the correct direction. And Allah's the best of planners, and he knows what you need to learn. I think that as humans, especially as men, we only learn the hard way anyway. There's 2 ways to learn a lesson, the hard way and the hardest way. There's no easy way to learn a lesson. You have to learn the hard way. So God gives us lessons via difficulty. He thinks you need to learn this about yourself or this about other people. So I'm going to give you a difficult time so you can learn your lesson. Because if I told you, if I just said, hey, Andrew, this is how the world works, you go, yeah, yeah. But when I show you, when you feel it, my fight coach used to say, you have to feel it to believe it. That's why if he was teaching low kicks, he'd kick your leg off. Because you don't believe in the power of a low kick. You don't believe a low kick can be so devastating unless you've felt it. You have to feel it to believe it. So God will give you a difficult time so you learn your lessons. And the lessons are very important for you to be the person who you need to be in this life. He's the best of planners. And I'm thankful for all the lessons he's given me. He's bestowed knowledge upon me. How could I not be grateful to God for making me so intelligent and wise and the ability to look into things so deeply and come up to the right decision and basically predict the future perfectly? How did I know they were all going to arrest me? How did I know how the world works? You have to have difficulty happening to you all the time. So when you sit and say, I want an easy life, what you're saying is you're a dummy and you want to be a dummy. You want to stay a dummy. I want an easy life and I don't want anything bad to happen to me because even though it will teach me lessons, I can't handle the emotional pain. I can't handle the stress. So you want to stay a dumbass. I don't want to be a dummy. I want to be smart. If I want to be smart, then hurt me.
See, I've seen a lot of people that are really successful, but this esoteric wisdom that you have is something that a lot of people don't have. It's as though you had some sort of an awakening. I'm sure it just doesn't happen naturally, bro.
I can't tell you exactly where it's come from. I just know that I become a more formidable, more competitive version of myself after every single bad thing that's ever happened to me. It's one less thing to fear. It's one less thing to be worried about. I've done it before. The idea of being thrown in a Romanian dungeon for 3 months, locked in a room the size of a bathroom, before I went in there would have been scary. And now, even though I know how bad it is, it's worse than I even expected. I should be more scared. But instead, I'm sitting thinking, well, I did it once.
You experienced it.
I've done it.
Yeah.
I've done it once.
Right.
So I can do it again.
You can do it better.
I can do it better. That's right. I'll enjoy it more. I'll enjoy the sleep. I'm busy now. I had to get up. I have things to do. I got make sure that my empire is maintained. I could have taken a nap. So I feel because it's also very interesting because you talk about wisdom, you use the word wisdom, and I appreciate the compliment. I don't read books. I never read a book except for in jail because I don't have time. All of the wisdom I have, all of this knowledge I speak, all of these things I say have been learned through basically difficulty of life, through professional fighting and being poor and all bad things happening to me and struggle. All of my lessons have been bad things, bad events, bad scenarios, bad situations, pain, suffering, anger, resentment. All of these horrible emotions are how I've learned everything. So I thank God for giving them to me. And anyone who wants an easy life wants to stay a dummy. What do you learn if you just get money, you buy a crypto coin, it blows up, you get some money, you sleep with some girls, you go to some restaurants? What do you learn about anything?
You don't. There's no purpose because I reached the other end of the spectrum. I realized that now I have this, but there's no meaning to my life anymore.
Absolutely.
And this is the reason why I'm doing this, because I want to add more meaning to my life.
Completely. And then when you're searching for meaning, when you're living in that type of life and you end up searching for meaning, you end up down the path of hedonism because the meaning is I want to have as much fun as possible. But fun in and of itself, I was talking to another girl and I was saying to her that fun, she was saying to me, you know what, Andrew, all you do is work. You never really have fun. And I said, fun is haram. And she said, she's a Christian girl. She goes, is fun really haram? I'm like, no, it's not. But please understand what I'm trying to say here. What I'm trying to say is when you look at what most people do for fun, look, what fun is clubs, drinking, running around, laughing like a kid, all this, all the bad things in life, the negative haramities can be attained through this obsession with fun. If you find a man who's obsessed with work, he's not going to do many bad things.
I do not resonate with fun myself. I was speaking to Charit, my school friend here, and he told me that, Ansh, you don't have any fun. What do you do for fun? I said, bro, I just don't know what the concept of fun means to me anymore.
That's right.
So he said, I'm going to take you scuba diving.
Yeah.
So he's saying, I'm going to make that work for you. I was like, all right, fine, we'll see. But I'm not really excited about it. Sorry, bro.
No, the concept, and that's what's so interesting. I agree with you. The concept of fun. I have things I need to do, and I feel satisfied inside when I do them. I have duty and I have work and I have obligations to fill and objectives to meet. I feel happy when they are done. That is my fun. My fun is clearing my emails, making $2 million in the day, buying another investment property I don't need, going to bed, training hard, eating right. That's my fun. Call me boring. That's my fun.
That's not boring.
But that's what I enjoy. When you were talking about that lifestyle and what you end up searching for in that hedonism, you just end up searching for excesses, right? To have more fun, you want to get more drunk or do more drugs or sleep with more girls or go to more clubs, and it's just a black hole and it never ends and you end up destroying yourself.
Yep.
We need discipline. We need purpose. We need to have parameters set for us. And truthfully, as a person, you're happier that way. That's why I quit drinking. People think I quit drinking because I reverted to Islam. That's not why. I actually quit drinking 2 months before that. And I was extremely effective on alcohol. I would drink 4 or 5 times a week because I'm extremely rich and I have a very good life and I'm in my mansion and I'm drinking and I've got all these hot girls. I was still world famous. I was still making millions of dollars. I was still in fantastic physical condition. All the videos you watched me from a year and a half ago, I still look like a bodybuilder. I still outperformed everybody. You loser in Starbucks, me drinking, even though I had I didn't have a drink problem. I could easily quit. In fact, I didn't even want to drink most of the time. It's just a party going on. I was still monumentally successful on alcohol and I could continue to drink alcohol for the rest of my life and still be top G forever.
What shifted?
But I stopped because I thought, will I enjoy, this might be an oxymoron. This may not make sense. It may be counterintuitive. But let me say it. Will I enjoy having less fun? Will it be fun to have less fun? And I was sitting there to Tristan and saying, maybe. He said, me and Tristan, it's on a Tate Confidential. You can find the Tate Confidential. We got on a private jet. I think we were in Prague. I don't even know where I was.
Yeah.
We were drinking gin and tonics the whole time. It was $250 per megabyte of Wi-Fi. So we put the Wi-Fi on and was playing music to run up this $30,000 Wi-Fi bill on the $50,000 jet, drinking alcohol. We flew into Cannes in France and we landed and we stayed in this massive mansion with all these beautiful women. And we're drinking and partying, whatever. And when that ended, I said to Tristan, okay, that's all fun. But would it be fun to have less fun? My brother's sitting there with a whiskey and a cigar.
That's so funny, bro.
He goes, what are you talking about? And I said, maybe instead of spending all of our money doing this stuff, we should spend all of our money getting very regimented. We should have loads of members of staff and we should be up at exactly 7:46 and we should have a coffee ready and hot at 7:47. And at 8:01, we should go into the gym and we should finish at 8:27. And we should have all of it. We should have everything regimented and we should produce more content than ever before, become richer than ever before and build a massive empire.
Skynet, Andrew.
Just become extremely not boring, but just remove the fun and have fun in not having fun and just being monumentally competent and effective. And Tristan said, that doesn't sound very fun. To continue to sip his whiskey. And I said, well, yeah, okay. Well, I'll try it. You can continue to have fun. I'll be the boring one. Let me try for 6 months to give up all fun and just be boring. And then I learned some very interesting things during that time. Firstly, I learned that the whole idea of drinking for being social is now gone. I think we're at the age where if you were 21 and you didn't drink, you didn't have a life. You'd go to the club, you were drunk.
Bro, I never drank. I don't drink, I don't smoke, nothing.
Fantastic. Okay, well then, sorry for calling you boring with no life, sir. But in England, 10, 15 years ago, you just went out, there's clubs, there's girls, you're drunk. It's like a social thing. And if you didn't drink, people were like, why? You were socially weird.
That happened to me all the time. So I just stand with a glass, just pretending that it was vodka.
Yeah, there you go. But now you don't need that for socializing at all. There's no reason to drink for socializing because everything's online anyway. You meet everybody on apps. Nobody cares about drinking anymore. That's the first thing I learned. The second thing I learned is that being exceptionally regimented is fun. I truly enjoy it. I enjoy it just as much as I enjoyed being... because what would happen before is I'd do all my work and I'd train hard and I was always an effective person. I was still 1,000 times more effective than the average man. That's why I was top G. And then I would take 6 or 7 hours and drink and smoke and have fun and enjoy all the fruits of my labor. I became extremely rich. Why not get on a private jet with 20 girls and why not go to a yacht in Croatia with 30 girls and have fun? But now instead of spending those 6 hours having fun, I spend those 6 hours continuing to work. And I enjoy it just as much. So now I'm sitting there going, well, I enjoy it just as much. And I'm not damaging my health in any way.
Yeah.
I enjoy it just as much and I'm making more money. I enjoy it just as much. I don't have all these stupid girls messaging my phone, annoying me. So isn't it, just to jump off that chain for a second, it's kind of amazing. I just said stupid girls messaging my phone, annoying me. It's every man's dream to have 50 beautiful women begging him on his phone. I can't explain how much it pisses me off.
Yeah.
It's like I need a whole new number.
Bro, it's very annoying. They don't get the point.
Yeah, that's right. So it really, truly ruins my day when a beautiful girl's like, can I see you? It's like, oh, I've got things, I've got work to do. I'm regimented. I have to sit here and type. I don't want to talk to you.
And then they call you misogynistic.
Yeah, that's right. I don't want to and have fun and party. I don't want to do any of that. I want to do emails. You don't get it, woman. I know to you it makes no sense. But you already have all this money, Andrew. Why do you want to do emails? Because that's my fun now, regiment. So I decided to dedicate 6 months to being boring. And by the end of the 6 months, I was having so much fun being boring that now I will probably never drink again. I am 0% tempted to drink ever again. I'm 0% tempted by fun, which is what you said, and I completely get it. When someone goes, hey, Andrew, I'm like, what? We're going to go here, and it's going to be fun. I'm like, nah. You have fun. I'll do my emails. You enjoy. I don't want to go to clubs. I don't want to go to some party. Maybe it's also being locked up. I like to self-analyze, but because I've been stuck in Romania for going on 2 years now, I'm not even, people say, when you're free, where are you going to go? I'm like, truthfully?
Home?
Nowhere. Yeah, like I'll stay in my house. I'm not interested in traveling. I'm not interested in seeing anything. I've seen it all anyway. I've been everywhere. Like I can go to a restaurant in Bucharest, or I can get on a plane and I can fly to France and go to a restaurant in France. Who cares? I'm above it all. I'm over it all. I want to run my empire, and I want to have as many children as possible, and I want to spend time with people I love, and I want to beat my brother at Uno, and that's it. I don't want to do anything. Maybe I've gotten boring. Maybe I've leaned too much into the boring character, but I truly enjoy just being boring and regimented.
No, you're committed to your purpose.
I'm committed, yeah. And I like getting as much work done as possible. And that's why I'll never, ever drink again. So the whole concept of fun is alien to me. I totally get it now. When you said that, you're totally right. It's fun isn't fun. Fun's not fun.
Bro, this is fun.
Yeah, that's right.
Because it's unknown, man. I don't know what's going to happen there.
That's right. This is fun. And then achieving things in work is fun. The only thing I guess I can say I do for fun is driving fast cars, but then I need to make $800,000 to buy a Ferrari. So it's still work involved, you know? There's still work involved.
I need to invest in the infrastructure of my country in order to do that.
Yeah, there you go. You'll pull it off. You'll get there. You'll be the new president.
Bro, I don't want to go there, man. I don't want to go there. I'm going to be that then.
Yeah.
That's something I don't want to do. In fact, I'd much rather be a part of your regiment, enter the war room, help you build something as well.
Yeah.
Maybe my services can be a little useful.
Oh, bro, we have a few guys in Mumbai, but we do need some more guys in Mumbai to run a HQ. So that would be amazing.
Right here, man.
Thank you, bro.
Let's do this.
Thank you, sir. And it's interesting you said that. It's very interesting what you said about being there. You're correct. People say to me, why don't you enter politics? Because if I enter politics, guys, I can't tell you the truth anymore. I can't sit here and do this anymore if I enter politics, because then I'm definitely going to jail or I'm definitely getting killed.
Yep.
So once you enter politics, you totally sell your soul. So if you want me to sit here and continue to tell the truth, which is what I'm trying to do, I can't enter politics to do it. I have to do it here and try and inspire enough millions of people that you stop buying their shit. That's the best I can do.
How can I be helpful to Hustlers University? How can I add more value?
Yeah. So we have two things. We have Hustlers University, which teaches people how to make money.
Yeah.
This already has 18 professors. We teach 18 different modern wealth creation methods. Are updated every single day, 3 times a day, for the most up-to-date, cutting-edge information on how to make money. It's only $49 a month. Anybody can join from anywhere in the world, and you can make money. Then we have the War Room, which is a brotherhood. It's separate. So the real world, or Hustlers University, is for making money. The War Room is for networking. Because once you have money, you start to realize that it's not having money that you wanted.
Yep.
It was power you wanted. You wanted power. You didn't want money, you wanted power. And power is who you know. So power comes from having other men in other countries, other masculine men who have a network or have friends or have money who are successful. That's what power is. The War Room is great because I can fly to Mumbai.
Yep.
Somebody will be there at the airport, or a car will be for me at the airport. I'll be looked after.
Everything will be taken care of.
That's right. Same in Cape Town. Same in
Where's
New York.
Andrew going to be staying? Yeah, for sure.
Okay, there we go. So that's what real power is. And then also, when you have a strong network, you then, inversely, make more money. Because you make money, you get a strong network. The network helps you make money. It's the circle.
How did this happen? This happened because of that. It happened because of the network.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's the exact point. So the War Room is the networking. Hustlers University is the money, but they often tie together. But for the War Room, we have some guys in India, and we have I think our biggest bases now, we have a lot of guys in New York. We have a lot of guys in Miami. We have a lot of guys in Dubai. We have a lot of guys in Prague. We have a lot of guys in London.
Yeah.
We're global. We're everywhere. We have a lot of guys in Australia. We have a lot of guys in Bangkok. It's amazing because we have some of these regional centers where there's hundreds of guys who meet like twice a month. Hundreds of guys with hundreds of millions of dollars in a room.
Do you yourself individually operate in the war room?
I'm a member like everyone else. I'm a member. I'm not the leader. I'm not special. I'm not different. I'm a member like everybody else. And we talk about all different types of things in the side of the war room. And when I'm free, we travel. I travel and I go to the events. There's events that happen in Romania, so anyone can fly into my event that I run.
Bro, that's
here
amazing, man.
Have fun.
Are you having one in the next 2 days?
Well, not in the next 2 days. The last big one we did in Romania was the test.
Oh, right.
I don't know if you've seen that. The test was, there's a video about it. I'll have to send you the video so you can watch it. So I told everybody to prepare themselves mentally for a test.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, well, how do you prepare mentally for a test if you don't know what the subject is? And I said, well, raw action solves everything. And the goal was for them to understand that they don't know what to prepare themselves for mentally. They should at least just go and test themselves physically and prepare. Some of them got it, some of them didn't. Anyway, this 50 or 60 men flew in for this test. And when they sat down, they found out they were having a cage fight the next day against a professional cage fighter. And they could either say yes or no. The ones who said no, they learned a lot about themselves, about the reality of violence. They learn a lot about themselves when it comes to their ego and who they think themselves are as a man. But when there's a chance of fighting, when they know they're going to lose, because it's easy to be brave when you're hopeful. Hope gives you bravery. But when you know it's a 100% chance of getting beaten up, that is a different type of brave.
Bro, that's fun.
Yeah, well, there you go. Some guys didn't do it. They learned about themselves. Some guys did do it, tested themselves, and learned about themselves. And we have the videos showing the guys who got in there. Nobody won. Everybody lost. They were fighting some of the best fighters in the world. Russian cage fighters.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
We're going to get slammed.
Everybody the guys who got in there, everyone lost. But they got in there, which taught them about themselves.
Of course.
And the guys who didn't get in there learn a lot about themselves also. So this is what the war room's about. It's about testing yourself. It's about networks, it's about brotherhood. Imagine the brotherhood you're going to feel with a fellow war room member when you've both got in the cage and both got the shit kicked out of you on 1 day's notice when you didn't expect it to happen after flying to Romania because I put on this event.
This is your own personal fight club.
That's right. So, and that's just one event. We have events all the time, and I won't tell people what some of the other ones are. But we have amazing things happening all the time because society used to have a rite of passage for manlyhood anyway. To turn from a boy into a man, society would give or do something that you had to go through and struggle and test yourself and pain and all the things we've been talking about so that you could prove you're now a man. But that's been removed from society. So the war room's a fantastic place for anybody to join.
Man. This is so important for everybody to do because people aren't doing this.
That's right. And you can join, and once you join, you have to prove yourself amongst your brothers, which means you have to work harder than ever before and be more successful than ever before and be braver than ever before. And that's the beautiful thing about it.
It's inevitable, man. We're all aligning to a cause then.
That's right. So the war room's a beautiful thing. And you can see it all on CobraTake.com. It explains how it all works.
Nice. So how did this whole ideology just come about? Like with Hustlers University, with the war room, all of this stuff?
So Hustlers University was because I knew modern education was an absolute joke. In fact, I was talking to a beautiful Swedish girl who I met in Dubai who was visiting me here in Romania post our Dubai trip. And she was sitting here saying, I don't know what to do. I finished school. I want to go to university. I said, university is a scam. She said, I know, but I don't know what else to do. And I said, well, I'll launch my own university. I just said it off the top of my head. So I did it. Raw action solves everything. That's where Hustlers University came from. And the war room was basically because my brother and I have done pretty good at conquering the world based on our fraternity.
Right.
And we always talked about how great it would be to have more brothers. So we created the war room to get more brothers. It's that simple. We just sat there and thought, we need more brothers, so let's find brothers. And the war room is ruthless in its curation. We're constantly kicking people out who don't perform. You don't just get to join and be a brother. No,
it doesn't make sense otherwise.
And then you have to work.
It's consistency.
That's right. Because the lowest performing members are kicked out every year. Or every 6 months.
Right.
So if you join and you don't work, you get kicked out, which means it's constantly curating, constantly becoming more and more high value group as thousands of people join and the low hanging, the chaff is cut off and the cream rises to the top. So it's a fantastic thing. And we were looking for brothers. And then I was looking to give an education because I'm such a nice man as a philanthropist.
You are.
To this beautiful Swedish blonde with blue eyes and big heart. I was looking to give her an education, and I decided to create a university. So that's where it came from because I know things. So I decided to teach them.
How do I sign up? How do we do this?
We'll get it done. We'll get you inside of both.
Bro, the most important thing. what is the matrix? A lot of people want to ask because there are so many different definitions online as well.
Yep.
From a spiritual perspective, there's a whole other intrusion of AI, not the AI that we're speaking of, another web of AI. What is the matrix for the common consensus?
Great point. There's a spiritual matrix because there's self-limiting beliefs.
Yep.
And there's believing you don't live the best possible life on earth. And there's believing that money isn't abundant, as we just talked about earlier. There's a spiritual matrix, completely correct, that you need to try and escape. There's also a physical matrix in terms of where you can go, limited by your finance. There's a whole there's very different inclinations of the matrix. But to answer succinctly, the matrix is effectively the system of control which is used for. Let me answer that again.
Yeah.
To answer succinctly, the matrix is the system of control which is used to keep the population subservient. We've already discussed at length about how these control mechanisms have to be built for the lowest percentile of the populace.
Right.
So they've put you in scenarios and situations which don't necessarily benefit you, in scenarios and situations which are impossible. And they're trying to keep you subdued. And they do this via constant distraction from the media machine and making you believe in a version of reality that does not exist. Your life that you're living is not making you happy. Your life that you're living is not fulfilling you. And your chance of ever escaping that is basically zero. So to keep you there, they distract your mind permanently. And that's what the matrix is. They keep your mind distracted so they can abuse your body. And to escape the matrix, you need to first free your mind and understand what's happening to you and understand how all of this works. So then you can free your body. If you truly believe in what the matrix tells you, if you believe having an ego as a man is wrong and being arrogant as a man can be bad and it's toxically masculine and you shouldn't want to show off and you shouldn't want to be better than anyone else, well, then you're going to stay broke and you're going to stay in the matrix, aren't you?
Yeah.
If you believe what they tell you, your chance of getting out is zero. You need to free your mind first, and then you can at least see that you're stuck in a trap. I'm not saying all of you will get out because some of you are harder working than others. But unless you know you're in a trap, you're never going to get out.
But how does one free their mind without getting into Hustlers University?
Well, if they're watching this podcast, that's a good thing. It's a good start, right? Hustlers University is the answer for the people whose minds are already freed. Once your mind is free, once you understand that your chance of making money with the traditional route they've laid out for you is zero. Going to school, going to college, going to university, getting in debt, getting a job with school debt, getting a mortgage with mortgage debt, getting a car with car debt, in debt to the banks, working at a job with the pay rise comes very sparsely, inflation's out of control, the property, you're never going to pay it off, you're never going to get rich, you're going to stay broke forever. Once your mind understands that the system and the path they've told you towards riches, which is get a good job, get good grades, get a mortgage, is a lie, then you need an alternative, which is Hustlers University. We'll teach you how to make money for $49. It costs less than lunch. We'll teach you how to make money and you can escape the matrix. But first, your mind needs to be free. You need to understand that the path they're giving you leads nowhere. Some people still believe in it.
Bro, they do because sorry, Mom, I'm going to actually say this. She's going to watch the podcast later. But, I told her not to take the vaccine. Yeah. I did tell her that. Yeah. She's saying, no, everybody's taking it. My brother in London, he's saying that, I can't fly out of the country if I don't take it. I said, Mom, you don't need to take it. Yeah. Why? You're absolutely healthy. Yeah. You haven't got the C, man. You haven't.
Yeah.
I didn't get it. Yeah. Nothing's going to happen to anybody. It's just fucking flu.
Yeah.
A couple of days later, we see that I think the CDC announced that it treated like a flu.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck just happened? And she sent that to me. I said, why are you sending it to me when it was me who actually was telling you not to do it?
And this is the thing. Some people are still stuck inside the matrix, especially the older generation. I feel like the younger generation have woken up to a lot of the lies. But another reason why is because, let me have a sip of coffee and I'll answer that. The matrix didn't betray the older generation as much as it betrayed our generation. So the path to wealth we just laid out worked for them. You could go to school, get good grades, get a good job, get a mortgage, get a house, pay the house off. Inflation has made the house price go up. You've made a bunch of money.
Yeah.
So the matrix did good by you.
Definitely.
The system wasn't completely corrupted. What did we talk about earlier about the cyclical nature of systems? And when the new king comes in, he has good intentions at the beginning.
The changing world order, right? Ray Dalio explained it.
That's right. The king comes in with good intentions before he ends up lying and lying and lying. Everyone's intentions start good.
Correct.
So the Matrix, when it was all set up in this mortgage system, was probably set up with a very good intention. And it worked for a lot of people. Now it's all a scam. But because it worked for your parents, they're like, oh, you should go to school and save up and buy a house. That's what I did. Well, you did it because the cost of a house was twice your yearly wage. And now it's 100 times my yearly wage. And it's not even the same game we're playing. That's like saying you should just jump over him because I played checkers, but we're playing chess. They're different games. So the older generations still have some belief in the Matrix because they haven't been deceived. They haven't been tricked as badly as the younger generation have. This is why they believe in it. And that's why your parents will tell you the path to wealth that they followed because it worked. But it doesn't work anymore. Now we're living in a society where you have basically two choices. The path to wealth that they've laid out to you is a lie and a scam, and it's never going to work. You're never going to get rich that way, and you know it. Working hard in some corporate job is never going to make you rich ever. You could make $150,000, $200,000 a year. If you're living in London, you're renting an apartment in a normal car, and you're not living a fancy life at all. You're not.
Not at all.
Not at all. And you're making crazy money in the top 2% of all paid jobs in the country. So if you're not born from money, you need to get access to money via your network, which is the war room, or you need to learn cutting edge technologies to be in first, like we talked about earlier, low hanging fruit, digging in the gold without working too hard, which is Hustlers University. Or if you're not going to be smart enough to join Hustlers University and do the correct work, because you're already working, but you're working on the wrong things. You can do the correct work and make money. You can make money via your network in the war room. You can have money from your family. If you don't have any of those things, well, then what people are doing now is they're just gambling. That's what meme coins are. We have a whole generation of youth who are just gambling.
You're that in the lottery, man.
That's it.
That's it.
They're gambling. We have people who are going to work, working in Starbucks, getting their monthly wage, and just sitting there choosing a random meme coin and gambling because they know their only way out is to gamble their way out.
But they're not studying it, man.
Well, and that's the thing that's interesting. How does this extrapolate out towards society as a whole? Having a couple people gamble all their money away, no big deal. When you have a whole generation of youth who understand their only way out is to gamble their way out, now nobody's trying to become an engineer. No one wants to build bridges. China's going to do all that for us because we'll see how that works out.
And those bridges are going to collapse.
Yeah, we'll see.
Guys.
We'll see how that works out.
Yeah.
And we're all just going to sit around gambling on meme coins. Society's broken. So it's kind of amazing how my solution, Hustlers University, an online educational platform where people can learn how to make money to restore their faith in hard work, to restore their faith in discipline and diligence for $49 a month, which is accessible to everyone on earth. I should be a hero. The Matrix, if it didn't hate the world, should love me. Look what this billionaire has created. Look how he's helping the youth and all the money they're making. Look at all the thousands of success stories. We have thousands of videos. You can go to corporatate.com, click on Hustlers University. We have thousands of people saying we've saved their lives. Instead, what do they say? They attack it, and they attack me because the Matrix doesn't want you helped. The Matrix wants you enslaved. It wants you to continue to work that job and pay your taxes and stay a slave and stay broke. It wants you to go and get student debt and then get mortgage debt and sit semi-depressed in your sexless marriage. That's what it wants from you. The fact they're not celebrating me is proof in and of itself that their intentions are heinous because I've done nothing but educate children, and they still hate me. I feed kids via Tate Pledge. I feed children all around the world, millions of dollars a year I give to starving children. They attack me for that. They attack me for that, saying, why does he only feed kids in Muslim nations? Or why did he feed this kid in this town, which is held by rebels, as if it's the kid's fault? They attack me for feeding children. This shows in and of itself how genuinely dark and dangerous the Matrix and the control mechanisms are. They don't want anybody to succeed.
Right.
They don't want anybody to even live a good, happy, fulfilled life anymore. They want you in perpetual debt slavery and semi-depression. So you're sitting there in a half comatose.
Yeah.
That's all they want.
Bro, how do you still manage to stay so relevant despite being banned on so many of these platforms?
That's a very good question. And I think it's because of my haters. I'm going to argue with it. I think I generate discussion.
Yeah.
This is the thing that's so interesting about emotionality. Because the true weapon against somebody you don't like is apathy. If there's somebody I don't like, which is impossible for me because my life's fantastic, and I don't want to sound arrogant, but nobody's important enough for me to dislike them. People come to me and say, hey, you dislike this guy. I'm like, I don't dislike the guy. He's an idiot.
But you're not bothered, when
Yeah,
you're playing at that level, it doesn't matter.
I don't care. I dislike him. I think he's an idiot. But I don't care. I don't care. I don't care either way. I don't care if he gets a new car. I don't care if he falls off a cliff. I don't care. So I'm apathetic towards everybody. But my haters can't be apathetic towards me. I control them emotionally because when my face appears, they have to write bad things. And that is a form of control. I emotionally manipulate them. I will sit and say something which I know will upset them on purpose, knowing that they can't help but emotionally reply, which is all energy fed in my direction.
It is.
Which helps me.
You just alchemize it.
It helps me. I don't need an Instagram account because if they post me on Instagram, some feminist will sit there and go, And it's good for the algo, and the comments and arguments start, and I conquer it. How do I become relevant? Well, because my people who dislike me can't help but fund my career. Because nobody can be apathetic towards me because I can emotionally manipulate them and control them. I'll give you a bunch of examples. I said it earlier in this podcast. I said feminists had a good idea, but in a typical female fashion, they f***ed it up.
Right.
Typical female fashion, they're going to lose their minds. I know what I'm doing. I did it on purpose. I think it's funny. I'm not scared of the bad press. I'm not scared of the BBC. I'm not scared of some feminists sitting there calling me names. I don't read any of it anyway. It's amazing to me that feminists will sit there and write these comments expecting me to what, somehow read it? I'm busy. I'm billionaire. I don't read Instagram. That's brokey shit. I don't care about comments. I got street problems. I got shit to do. I don't read any of it. I just set them off and let them go. I just put a battery in the Energizer bunny of upset losers.
You know how those trigger points work.
Yeah, that's right. I just flick it and okay, off you go. Please fund my career. Thank you. My haters can't help it. They're emotionally controlled. But the reason they are this way is because the only people who dislike me are slaves inside the matrix. And people who are slaves inside the matrix are emotionally controlled in general anyway, because the whole MSM uses emotional control. Because emotional arguments don't require a logical basis. If you're in charge of the populace and you want to make them all slaves, you don't want them to be logically minded, because if they're logically minded, they're going to sit and say, does this make sense for me? I'll give you an example. I woke up and I am in Italy and I'm watching the news. Do I want Italy to send all of its guns and weapons and money to Ukraine? Does it make sense to me? Me, I'm in Tuscany. I've got olives.
Right.
And do I want to take my country's money and my country's resources and fight Russia? Not really. That just doesn't make any logical sense. So how do they get you to do it? They come with emotional arguments. Russia's killing kids, which is all lies, by the way. They lie. But the great thing about emotional arguments also is you don't need data. You can lie. When you go logical, you go data. Data, you can lie, but it's perhaps more difficult. You need a video. You need something. Now,
I've been to Moscow so many times. I think it's a great place. That's what my friend Charit and I were talking about yesterday as well. Like, I think it's so badly misunderstood by the mainstream media. I think they're incredible people.
Of course. I completely agree with you. And I don't want to talk about the Ukraine-Russia war specifically because we're on the border here in Romania and SBU is not too far away. But it's emotional arguments, right? So they try and use emotionality to control these people, which is why the people who dislike me, who are people who are still plugged into the matrix, they're mad at me and they can't control their emotions because their entire life is being emotionally manipulated. Those are the people who they sit and say, grandma will die if you don't get the vaccine. Now, oh, grandma, emotional argument. They comply. Racism's why you don't have a job is not because racism. So when I come along and say something, Andrew, these people are just empty vessels controlled by their emotions anyway. So they're just clowns to be used for the circus. Not only me, I use these clowns for my circus. The Matrix uses these clowns for its circus. They're just clowns for hire. All you need to do is come up with an emotional argument and they'll be outside with a picket screaming. They're clowns for hire, these people. And I use the same clowns the Matrix uses to perpetuate my fight against the Matrix.
Right.
Thank you very much. I think that's the most intelligent thing I could possibly do. And that's how I stay relevant. So I can't wait to post this clip. Women can't drive. Women can't park. You're shit. You don't pay attention. Put it on Instagram. I don't care. Go. Watch some girl go, I'm a great driver. Blah, blah. No, you're not. You're a liar. Put it all on Instagram. Fine by me. Fine by me. I don't care. And I mean what I say. The thing is, I'm not saying it as a lie. I mean it. I mean what I say.
Yeah.
I mean what I say. In my personal experience, the worst driving I have ever seen has come from females. In my personal experience. And I actually argued this before once online. Someone goes, the data shows women can drive. Da, da, da. You can't just take your personal experience and put it over the data. You know what? Yes, I can. Because I live in my world. And I live in my version of reality. And considering that the data is all from the Matrix, which means it's all a fucking lie anyway.
Bro, what you just said was gold.
It's
your reality.
It's my reality. The data on the vaccine said X. Right. Data's made up. Data's numbers. I have Excel on my laptop. I can make up data. You can throw all that away. If you're the kind of person who adheres to the data as opposed to your personal experiences, then you're completely slave-minded. If you sit and say, the Matrix gave me this data, so I have to believe the data, well, then you're completely a slave. I live with my personal experiences, and I have seen enough car crashes. I've been sitting next to a woman driving enough times. I have seen enough women nearly hit my car and damage me to know they can't drive. Most women are so bad at driving that they don't know they're bad at driving.
We saw something just last evening.
That's how bad they are. They're so bad at driving, they don't know they're bad. I've had girls say, I'm not a bad driver. I drove to your house and nothing happened. I said, no. Here's what happened. You drove to my house. You cut up some guy who had to swerve, and you are so bad at driving, you didn't even notice. You're just like, and some dude was like, fuck, just, and you're like, music up. You don't even know how bad you are. You don't even know your tire pressures. One of your tires is flat. You didn't realize. You haven't even noticed. They're so bad, they don't know they're bad. So then they sit and say, I'm not bad, I'm good. You don't know how bad you are. I see how bad you are because I'm dodging you all day long. And I stick by it. I'll die on that hill. Shoot me. What I mean is, I mean what I say.
Is P. Diddy a good driver?
Well, yeah. But you know, that's actually another interesting thing. I said I'll die on that hill and I'll say what I mean what I say. Isn't that one of the basic tenets of masculinity in the first place? Just to sit and say, well, I believe this. Oh, but the data says, and you're not allowed to say that, and people will be offended, and the feminists will get mad. I don't care. I believe this. I don't care. Isn't that, to me, that's bottom line of a man anyway. That's what I believe. That's what I've seen. That's what I've seen with my own eyes. I don't care. I'm going to say it. And I think that they've even trained that out of people.
They have.
They've trained it out of you there's people out there right now, men with opinions, which they want to say, but they're like, man. And then what happens if you're afraid to say it because you're afraid to stick up for your own idea? Eventually, you're going to be afraid to think it. If you're afraid to say women can't drive and they keep bombarding you with the information saying women are better drivers than men, eventually you'll accept that information because you don't say it anyway.
That's how programming works.
That's how the programming works. That's right. So to resist the slave mind, it's important you walk around telling every woman they can't drive. I do it. When all my wives come to the house, one by one as they walk in. Oh, you didn't crash? No. every single time. I'm not that bad. Yeah.
Ask the other guy.
Yeah, you have to keep them, remind yourself. Keep the hope alive.
Bro, I want to pick your brains on Jeffrey Epstein and Black Jeffrey Epstein.
I'm in a unique position to comment on this because I'm accused of human trafficking. Everyone knows my case is bull. It is interesting to me that I was arrested for human trafficking on the day that Epstein files and Epstein lists came out to cover the MSM news. If you type human trafficking, only my face came out.
I'm aware, yeah.
I'm accused of human trafficking because of TikTok accounts. It's all a matrix attack. I've explained it before. It's all a scam. Epstein was literally having sex with kids. His list has never been fully redacted and released. No one's been arrested in connection with that. If that doesn't prove to you how the matrix works, I don't know what else to say. But to talk about it, I'll give you an interesting topic of conversation. I have talked at length in private with War Room members. And I want to say this also. Anyone who enjoys my podcast, please understand, this is 10% of the things I want to say because this is public.
I understand.
Things I say in private are far more pertinent and far more interesting. But I said, why is it Western elites typically that end up doing this heinous things on private islands and not Eastern elites or Russian elites? Why is it the Western elites? And I've come to a conclusion. I've come up with a thesis. I think it's based around how our society is now built. I used to talk about male-female gender dynamics a lot. And I said that at a certain level of competence and power, men are not loyal. And a lot of women got upset with me by that. And there's also a bunch of beta males who make videos and say, no, men are loyal. Cool. But at a certain level, men are just not. Now, we're loyal in other ways. We're loyal with protection. We're loyal with provision. But we're not sexually exclusive. Now, any man who sits there and says, that's not true, that's up to you. Cool. But if you were top G, you'd understand. When you have thousands and thousands of women a day sending you love letters, on a long enough time frame, you'll take a test car for a spin. You'll rent a car, whatever. It's part of life. And I think that is accepted in many parts of the world. If you're a Russian oligarch or if you're a Russian billionaire and you're living in Moscow, you think you have one girl? Oh, you have a wife and she has a nice house and a Bentley and you have the kids and you take care of her, of course. And then on the weekends, you have your girlfriends, probably 5 of them. And everybody knows and nobody cares. But in the West, we're denying masculine imperatives and we're denying human biology and saying to very powerful, rich, important men, you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed. You have to have that wife and only that wife, and that's it. And you're not allowed.
That's why they do it all the
more. So
more.
they end up doing all this stuff behind scenes. So what we've done by trying to remove the natural masculine imperative from men, we've now just pushed it all towards degeneracy. Because now you have men buying porn, going to strippers, buying OnlyFans. If they're rich and powerful enough, going to private islands, having on with God knows who, God knows where. Because they're not allowed to just say, yeah, I live with 3 women. And the 3 women love me and I'm happy. I'm satisfied. You can't convince me to go to a private island. You couldn't convince me no matter what, because I have too much to do at home, if you understand me. I don't need to go anywhere. I got stuff to do. I got women here. They love me. They're all beautiful. I got 10 beautiful girlfriends. Why don't I want to go to, fly? No, boring. And then sexual perversion, like all things, we talked about the light, the dark. We talked about how the light, hedonism. What did I say? More drugs, more drink, more clubs. Well, if you go to private islands and you have sex, because you're restricted at home, you're a rich, powerful man, you've tried very hard, you've gone out there and you've conquered the world, you've made all this money, but you have one wife, you're not allowed to cheat on her, you're not allowed to have any other women because that's wrong. You go to this island, you finally have sex for the first time ever, you lose your mind, and on a long enough time frame, you end up going deeper and deeper down the hole, and you end up having sex with younger and younger girls, weirder and weirder stuff, men, perversions. All sexual perversion is based on repressed sexuality. And the reason sexuality is so repressed amongst the elites of the West is because they can't sit and do what any normal, powerful man has done since the dawn of human history. Any man who was a king ever had concubines. Ever. But now we have kings who are allowed. So what do? They ending up down this black hole of perversion. Why? Trying to hide their natural and masculine instincts. And this is another thing that's very interesting.
And they get filmed for that.
This is another thing that's interesting because I was talking to a girl the other day. And she was saying, oh, yeah, you're open and you say you have all these girls on the internet, blah, blah. I said, yeah. And she goes, oh, but if I had a boyfriend who said that, my boyfriend's loyal to me. I said, no, your boyfriend, nobody wants to sleep with your boyfriend. Don't say and I know that because he's fucking you. Yeah. So, because you ain't. So your boyfriend has no options. Don't confuse masculine loyalty with a lack of options. And most women do. If your boyfriend's watching, does your boyfriend watch? Why? Does your boyfriend ever watch? Yeah. Okay, so he wants to.
He wants to, yeah.
He just can't.
Right.
That's not loyal. Wanting something you can't do isn't loyalty. That's a lack of options, right?
It's the intention at the end of the day.
The intention's there. There's no man out there who is with a woman who's also not watching on OnlyFans, not lusting over other girls on Instagram, not messaging girls who ignore him, not going strip clubs, then you're loyal. But if you're doing any of those things, you're just as disloyal as a man with 5 wives, except you're not man enough to get 5 wives. That's the only problem. So the whole thing is a fucking scam. So if you actually look at it, 99.9% of men aren't loyal. And women know this anyway. So you have to choose your poison, I guess. And I often analyze from the other side as a professional because I think that's what you should do. If I was a woman, what kind of man would I be with? And truthfully, I think I already know the answer to that question because if I look at me now, what's the kind of car I want? Well, I want the fanciest, sexiest, most beautiful car. And I understand that comes with problems. And the problems are that sometimes it just won't start. That's how it goes. But it's worth it to me because it's the best. Well, I guess that's what it's like being with a top tier man. You're with the best man on earth. Everybody wants him. Sometimes he's busy one night. Sometimes he's going to be out for a while. But you're with the best. You can get a Nissan. It'll start every time. It'll start every time, no problems. But it's a Nissan. So you have to make your choice as a woman, what kind of man you want to be with. And if you're a woman who gets with a top tier male and thinks, I'm going to make him be loyal to me, you're going to end up having to leave him for cheating. And then you're going to try and get another one. And you're going to end up having to leave him for cheating. And you're going to try and get another one. And after you've been through 25 of them, your heart's so broken, you can't love anyone anyway. So now you're broken. So as a woman, the smartest thing you can do is stick by your man anyway, because I believe that women take emotional damage from every single breakup. I think every single time a woman takes a breakup, she gets a little bit more insane.
But what's your opinion if a woman were to do that as well? If she thought that she's the top G, for example.
Okay, well then we can talk about that. But yeah. I think that women take emotional damage for every single man they sleep with. I really believe it. Find the craziest women, they slept with a lot of guys. All. If a woman sleeps with a man and she doesn't end up pregnant by that man and stay with that man for the rest of her life, by the time she leaves him, she takes a degree of mental retardation. And every single time she sleeps and takes a new, she ends up a little bit more retarded.
She's storing all that energy within herself.
They end up weird.
Yeah.
So if you're a woman who's so obsessed with the idea of loyalty that you're going to run around and jump on to try and find it, you're going to end up messed up yourself. And then you're never going to find it. So the best thing you can do is just understand the kind of man you're with, and also understand very pertinently and very accurately that trying to force a man into going against his biology
is going to make him do that all the more.
It's going to repress him into doing other things. The reason the West is run on because of this repression. If we got rid of all this repression and let powerful men do what they want to do, all these islands would disappear. Anyway, that's a separate argument. As for the women, well, since the dawn of time, female promiscuity has never been respected. I think men and women are good at different things. I think we have different roles. I would never expect a woman to pay for my dinner.
Right.
That's my job. I'm a man.
True.
And I would never expect a woman to defend me physically. That's my job. I'm a man. So we have to accept there's differences in our biology. Some are positive, some are negative. The positive is that I'm allowed multiple sexual partners and she is not. But I also have to pay all the bills and I have to become rich and strong and interesting. And I have to put her in a nice house and private jets and a nice car. And I have to defend her physically even when tries to attack her. And I have to put up with her problems and fix her bills when they appear. I have plenty of work to do for the little benefit of having more work to do.
Right.
Women can get pregnant, and because they can get pregnant, having multiple partners is haram. No one knows who the dad is. That's a very simple bottom line. And if you can come along and say birth control, all this garbage, that's all new age science. We're not going to go against human biology. But I just said something there which is actually true about a job to do. I think that's actually a great way to look at relationships. It's another thing I was talking to somebody about, and I said, when a woman's with a guy, a real G,
yeah,
she doesn't have to pay rent because she lives with him or in one of his houses. So she lives free. She gets to go to beautiful places and do beautiful things, go to the spa. She gets to go shopping. If she has a problem, she calls him and he fixes it. He probably has staff who help her if she needs help to go somewhere. She has security to go with her to make sure she's taken care of. She can fly private. She gets all these great life upgrades and she gets hugs and kisses. And what does the man get? Well, the man gets a job. He now has to take care of her. She's now another task. She's a job, just like your normal job is. You got to make sure she's not upset. She's emotionally regulated. Make sure her bills are paid. Make sure she's safe. Where is she? You have a job. You're doing a job. A relationship for a man is far more of a job than it is for a woman in many ways. So if you're a woman and you're going to understand that the man has a job to put up with you and he's making your life beautiful, but when he goes out with his boys twice a month and has a little bit of fun, you're going to have a mental breakdown. Well, then you're just going to end up disappointed. You're going to have to just be more realistic about the way the world works, because that's how it works.
True. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you so much for this, man.
Thanks, man.
Let it drop.